Texas in the burnt orange uniforms, Stanford in their white. And there you see the referee for today's match,
Verna Klebnikin,
as well as Jen Powell. And we are underway. And a quick side out for Stanford. Eileen Murphy with the kill. Murphy will now serve for the Cardinal. Stanford looking for a touch. They won't get one. Side out to the Longhorns.
And there you see Debbie Lambert. She tore her ACL today, her anterior cruciate ligament in her right knee, 25 minutes into practice today. And as a result, we won't be seeing her. She had a career-high 19 kills and 19 digs versus Texas September 6th when they met last. Good luck to her. That's an ugly injury.
It's unfortunate that it had to happen at this time of the year. And she did play a big role in the game against Texas when these two did meet. 1-0 Stanford picks up the first point of the match. Places that one nicely. 2-0 Stanford, and Maria, a lot of people in the volleyball community anticipating a Stanford-Nebraska matchup in the final. And of course, Texas will have their say here today. Little trouble on that play. 3-0 Stanford.
Ball handling problems right off the bat for Texas. Stanford is a great serving team. Carrie Wendell, one of the best. She leads their team in aces with 33 coming into this match.
The senior from Arroyo Grande, California. Co-player of the year with Allison Weston, who we saw earlier in the day with Nebraska. And there is a side out for the Horns.
There you see the strength of Demetria Sands. Such a dynamic hitter.
Sands to serve. Oh, wow. Focal. She puts that one down. Side out, Cardinal.
There's a different sound to it when Kristen Focal hits the ball. It's almost like a home run hitter in baseball, that kind of thud.
She is a dynamic player. Has only played 21 matches this season for Stanford. There she is with the dig in the back. Good job by Texas to keep that one in play, and put down by Brightonfield.
Nice play by Brightonfield. She found the donut in the middle of the court on the Stanford side.
Lakeisha Bledsoe to serve, the freshman from Arlington. Southwest Conference Newcomer of the Year. We saw her a bit limited yesterday due to an injury in practice, but she appears to be all right. Oh, excuse me, that's Sonia Barnes. My fault. And that time, Stanford into the net, Ifedchka. So a point for the Longhorns. Barnes on the serve. There you see her from Longview, Texas. Good block by the Horns. That was Bledsoe up front.
That was Wendy Ramadka hitting into the block. And you notice that Ramadka's wrist is taped. She fractured her wrist on the 28th of November, digging a spike from Kristen Focal in practice. She got her cast off last Thursday. She didn't practice yesterday, but she did practice a little bit today. She figures, hey, I'm a senior, a couple matches left. Can play with a little pain.
Texas has run off 3 straight points to tie it. Game 1, women's national semifinal.
Great up by Sharpley.
Brightonfield blocked up front by Sharpley.
It was a tight set. That was tough to hit, especially with the block just standing there waiting. It's part of what makes Sharpley such a great all-around player. For a setter, for only 6 foot, she can really get up and block.
Side out to Stanford. Fedska tries to keep it in play, goes sprawling into press row, but a side out for Texas.
Talked about the influx of foreign players into the collegiate ranks, and Barbara Efedjika is an example of that from Brampton, Ontario.
Bush serving for Texas. Nice job by Barnes and Sands. Sharpley's been dug 2 straight times now. And the 3rd time blocked up front. That's why Texas is one of the best blocking teams in the country.
It's a big block. 2 6'2" players up there together. 6'2" and 6'1".
Texas takes the lead 4-3. And there is a side out for Stanford. Cardinal going to Sharpley quite a bit here early on in game 1. And there is Sharpley on the serve, picking up a point to tie it at 4.
Stanford's done their scouting report. They are serving Brighton Field, and she is struggling. Probably their weakest primary passer.
Sharpley serving. That's blocked by the Cardinal. Katie Austin.
It all starts with a pass, and right now Texas is not passing very well to get the most out of their offense.
That one drops in for a side out.
You can tell both of these coaches have done their scouting report, because that middle shot has worked 3 times for Texas now.
Angie Brightonfield, the senior from Muncie, Indiana. Demetria Sands puts it down.
That was 10 feet off the net.
Sands gets the kill. Texas gets the point.
Never forget the first time I saw her play at the Olympic Festival. Before she had entered college. My mouth dropped open. It's like, who is this woman? So young and yet so gifted. From San Antonio, Texas.
Coach Haley thinks she has a very bright future in front of her. Tied at 5 here in game 1. That one put down by Austin. And now Susan Crispin, number 6, is into the lineup, and she will serve for Texas. She's a junior from right in Austin. Wendell.
A nice play there by Wendell. That set was wide. She turned it back into the court.
Side out to Stanford.
Ball control problems for Texas continue.
Wendell. And Bush got a piece of that one, so a point for the Cardinal. Eileen Murphy serving for Stanford. Junior from Tampa. Stanford up 1. And a side out.
Serve is long. Side out, Texas.
Austin back to serve for the Longhorns. They came in ranked 6th in the country. And there's a big kill. Focal again.
Only a sophomore. There's a chance that Kristen Focal may be going back to our U.S. national team in January, playing the 96 games. Probably a pretty good chance.
There's a nice kill from Barnes.
It's a nice play. Boy, Barnes really gets up. McKaylee firing his team up off the bench.
With the exception of Bush and Brightonfield, all the Longhorns will be back again next season. There's a nice block up front. We're tied at 6. And Demetria Sands will serve. Sharply powers that one through the block.
It was funny, Michele talking about recruiting Demetrius Sands. He said that it's a nice play there by Sharply, just tooling the block. I'll tell you that story later.
Second time in a row she's hammered one down.
They're running that play really well, that backslide play, and they're doing it quickly. They're beating the Stanford block out there. They're setting it nice and wide so she can hit the line.
Barnes to serve, tied at 6 in game 1.
2.
Sharply pounds one off of Sands.
That's the amazing thing about her. She's big, yet she gets down and plays great D and can pass the ball.
Side out Stanford. Fejica to serve. That time Bledsoe is able to put one down. Side out, back over to the Longhorns, and Carrie Bush to serve.
Carrie Bush to serve.
Tied at 6 in this national semifinal.
2 up.
And there is a point for the Longhorns. So they take the 7-6 lead here in game number 1. Michele and the Horns with the early advantage here in Amherst.
And meet the Carmel king of the castle, keeping his tight, CL smooth, sipping on Spritite. It's the Mechadon, never swerving untitled, knowing commercial rap needs to be recycled. Collecting cans for Nick's picks, my latest LP. Now obey my thirst, son, precisely.
I got the knack to rock, I'm steady heating up the spot. The chocolate boy wonder making heavy.
Play the under the cap game, and you have a 1 in 6 chance of winning another Sprite. You can also win cool NBA stuff. Not too useful if you're thirsty. Handy if you plan on leaving the house.
I promise. It'll be a good time, and we'll just...
Let's start. Marry on.
CK1. You never the only one. CK1. A fragrance for a man or a woman from Calvin Klein.
Texas leading Stanford 7-6, game 1 of the women's volleyball semifinals. And here are the rules for NCAA women's volleyball. Games to 15 must win by 2. It's best 3 of 5. You can only score when serving, and if these two end up in a 5th game, it will be rally scoring, which means a point will be awarded on every serve. Our first semifinal ended up in a game 5 with Nebraska outlasting Michigan State to advance. Off the block, nicely done by Romadka.
Nice tool there by Romadka. She was not in their starting lineup last year. Marnie Triefenbach was their other outside hitter, but Romadka had such a great spring. She earned a starting position back and has started most of the year.
And there is Eileen Murphy on the spot for Stanford. She gets the kill. Tied at 7, Sharply to serve. Back sets and into the net. Brightonfield missing on the attempt. 8-7 Stanford. And that time, the Longhorns get the job done. Katie Austin. Well, Stanford's been hovering around the top of the polls for much of the season, as has Texas.
Nice execution again by Romadka.
8-7 Stanford. Romadka serving. How does this group in the semifinals match up with some of the teams from the past, Maria? This has got to be a pretty loaded group that we've got in Amherst.
You know, I think it is the most physical group of 4 teams that I've ever seen in the finals, in the semifinals. I mean, I can't believe how big all of these teams are, how powerful all of them are. I mean, their offenses are intricate, and really a great group of teams.
On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love said to me.
Domino's Ultimate Deep Dish gets quite a reaction.
Rings for calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves.
A zesty thick crust, cheese melted to the edge. It's Ultimate Deep Dish only from Domino's. Call now for a large with 1 topping, just $9.99.
They're growing up so quickly.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Spartan School of Aeronautics can train you to be a pilot or quality...
A pilot?
Yes, Spartan has been training aviation professionals in Tulsa, Oklahoma since 1928. Spartan offers training in aviation maintenance, avionics. No, what now?
Shouldn't you join the military for something like that?
Not unless you want to make a 4-year commitment.
I guess you could say careers are really taking off at Spartan.
Call Spartan School of Aeronautics at 1-800-544-1000 for a brochure. That's 1-800-544-1000.
Stanford leading Texas 9-7 in game 1 of this national semifinal. The Longhorns from Austin, Texas, Southwest Conference champs with a 27-6 record. This is their 4th appearance in the national tournament. And there is the Texas AD, Jody Conrad, who leads a very successful women's basketball program as well down in Austin. She's got a national championship. And another point for Stanford as they go up now 10-7. They've run off 4 in a row.
Boy, Stanford is executing their game plan very well. Going right at Brighton Field. She normally passes pretty well, but she's kind of having an off night, and Stanford is just going at her.
Murphy hammers this one home.
You know, Murphy really is a great middle hitter, and she doesn't get much recognition because Stanford has so many great players.
Side out to Texas. There you see Romatka. And for the Longhorns, Chrisman back into the lineup to serve. Stanford has taken the last 5 points. Focal blocked by Austin up front. Nicely done.
Well handled by Austin. That set was really tight. Focal had a hard time doing anything with it.
Focal with another chance. Science powers that one down.
That's a good matchup for Texas, that Sance is going up against Wendell, because Carrie Wendell doesn't have many weaknesses, but the one weakness she has is blocking. That's an advantageous matchup for Texas.
Nice block by Murphy.
Big solo block by Murphy.
Side out to the Cardinal.
She's playing with a sprained thumb. She sprained it a few weeks ago, and it hasn't had a chance to heal. For obvious reasons, they don't want to take her out of the lineup over a thumb, and she's willing to play with it, but she'll look forward to the end of the season to heal her thumb.
She is subbed out. Katrine Hilliard is into the lineup. Focal can't get that one down.
And there you can see, Murphy's thumb, and it looks as if she may be digging for a little more tape.
Applying a little more tape and gauze to that thumb. Wendell finds the corner.
Wendell sees the court better than any player that I've seen. She is so smart and crafty. And Marnie Triefenbach is coming into the game. Coming off the bench for Wendy Ramadka. She was a second-team All-American last year. Had a little disappointing season this year, however.
Sance has not been disappointing at all. The freshman puts one down. Side out. Texas down by 2.
Her coach, Mick Haley, compares her to Kim and Elaine Oden and Focal as freshmen. And I would say that I'd have to agree with him. Those are some of the best female volleyball players ever.
Side out for the Cardinal. That's some pretty good company to be in.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Odens with Olympic experience. As you mentioned, Focal may be there this year, and perhaps Sance with a shot at 2,000.
Nice execution there. Sonia Barnes. They've run that play a few times with her, and it has been successful. She really finds that line well.
She has been very effective down the line. And now Sonia Barnes to serve. Been stuck on 11-9 here for a couple of minutes.
2-2.
Triefenbach is wide. Texas now within 1. Game 1. National semifinals here in Amherst, Massachusetts. We're at the Mullins Center. Winner will meet Nebraska in the championship on Saturday. And wide again is Sharpley. We're tied at 11.
It's not uncommon for Stanford to come out starting slow, and I think Texas is doing a good job of capitalizing on all of the mistakes that Stanford has made up to this point in the match.
We're tied at 11 here, women's volleyball national semis. Saturday at noon, it's college football on ESPN, the Division I AA Championship, Montana and Marshall. College football on ESPN Saturday noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We're at the University of Massachusetts for the women's volleyball semifinals. Texas and Stanford in game 1.
There, Breitenfeld hits high over the block. Dug in the backcourt. And a wide hit here by Sharpley. She's a player that's come on offensively for Stanford quite a bit these last few weeks. She's had a few triple doubles and really rounded out her game. As if Stanford needed another player to round out their game.
Not a bad recruiting class a couple of years ago for Don Shaw, Sharpley, Focal, Fejica.
Yeah, those freshmen made a huge impact on the Stanford program last year. And it's amazing how experienced and savvy some of these players are coming out of high school. I mean, we have example of it here out with Demetria Sants right now. Probably the #1 or #2 candidate for freshman of the year. Probably a toss-up between she and Roble. Wouldn't be surprised if Sants ends up with it, though.
Fejka misses long. And now, wait, they're going to talk about it and see if the Longhorns had a touch, and apparently they did, a side out over to the Cardinal. If Fejka will serve.
Short. No, she's off.
Good block up front by the Cardinal.
Boy, I like the way Sants went up and swung at that ball. The set was about 12 feet off the net, and she just went after it completely. She was blocked, but I mean, how much confidence can someone have as a freshman? I'm amazed at what she can do.
That time she and Barnes got tangled up a little bit, and Stanford makes them pay. 13-11 Stanford, 2 points away from closing out game 1.
The thing about this Stanford squad is that they have so many offensive weapons. They can set anyone on the court. You know, they run a 6-2 offense. That means they have 2 setters on the court at all time. And the advantage that they have is that they always have 3 hitters in the front row. And you'll notice an offense can get bogged down when the setter's in the front row and they only have 2 options to set. That doesn't happen to Stanford. And it just so happens their 2 setters, Wendell and Sharpley, are 1 and 2. Leading in kills for their team. So, I mean, they can go to so many people. They have Focal, they have Sharpley, they have Wendell, and then they've got 2 great middles in Fejka and Murphy. So there are no weaknesses offensively for this Stanford squad. I mean, Ramadka and Triefenbach have kind of flip-flop, but those are 2 great players. I mean, Marty Triefenbach was a 2nd-team All-American last year, and Wendy Ramadka has a lot of experience. She started her sophomore year, and she's just a real savvy player. So Stanford is so tough to block and so tough to beat because they move the ball around so well.
And what kinds of problems does that present defensively for an opposition to block when you've got to worry about 3 as opposed to 2? You probably don't get as many double blocks or
No, you really don't. And the thing is, I mean, Texas is doing a good job so far in this match, slowing Stanford down offensively. They really are. And if there's any team in the country that can do it, I believe it's Texas. They really are a great blocking team. They have a lot of athletic athletes.
And that's what makes this such an intriguing matchup, because they are #1 in the statistical categories in the nation in blocking.
Yeah, and Brightonfield, who swings at this ball here, is a lot of that. She blocks a ton of balls for them.
Serve from Bush into the net, side out. Sharpley will serve for Stanford. Cardinal 13, Longhorns 11 here in game 1. And there's a block from Brightonfield for a side out.
That was a good example of how good she is. She waited there and she hung and she got that block. Very well executed. Could see her just kind of hang up there and wait.
Right here, stay.
Kept alive by the Longhorns.
Inside.
Sance down the line. Point.
How about that
Texas.
for court sense? Boy, did she find the hole.
Longhorns trail by 1. Put down by Murphy. Side out Stanford. There you see head coach Mick Haley of Texas. If he wins the national championship, it would be his 500th career win.
Marty Triefenbach with the jump serve, she stepped over the line. Her foot must have been over the line when she took off.
Jane Winkle comes on for Texas. She will serve, #9, sophomore from Omaha. Vocal. That one's long. Tied at 13.
Don Shaw calls a timeout.
Well, at one point, Stanford was up 11-7. Texas has erased that 4-point deficit. And now both teams a couple of points away from taking game 1. We've talked a lot about the stars on these two teams, and there are several of them, particularly for the Stanford Cardinal. Here's a look at the first-team AVCA All-American list. We saw Dana Cook and Christy Johnson in the opening matchup, Michigan State, Nebraska.
Hawaii has a couple players, and there's Reitzma and Weston for Nebraska. Sharpley and Wendell for Stanford, Val Stirk for Michigan State, and British Worm for Long Beach State.
And you'll see no Longhorns on that list. And yesterday, talking with Coach Haley, he said he was disappointed that a couple of his players weren't named first team. Bush and Stantz did pick up second team nominations.
And Brightonfield was second team also.
There you see the only team east of California to win the NCAA title. But he certainly thinks pretty highly of his club and their chances coming into this matchup. And he says that Demetria Sance will certainly have the accolades coming her way in future years in Austin. Winkle to serve. It's also by Bush to dig that one. Sance comes through for Texas. The Longhorns now with a game point.
That was a great serve by Winkle to start this rally off. Nice float serve she has.
Focal can't put it down. And that time Kristen does. Side out.
She did a good job there of hitting over the smaller blocker. She was right over Bush.
Texas up by 1. Barnes side out Texas.
Texas has a lot of players that can put the ball to the floor. Brightonfield, Austin, Barnes, Sance.
Sonia Barnes playing extremely well for the Longhorns in game 1. Some substitutions. Katrine Juilliard is in the back row. And again, another game point for the Longhorns.
Fogel's hitting hard.
Side out Stanford. Wendell will serve.
Carrie Wendell's one of those players that finds a way to get what she wants. Shaw describes her as the kind of player that asks mom for something. She says no, so she goes and asks dad. And he says that she works the coaches the same way. But it translated onto the court. I mean, you know, she just finds a way to get the ball down. Finds a way for her team to win.
Third game point for Texas. Demetrius Sant serving. The Longhorns, so no,
that was a touch. Sharpley got a piece of the block.
A touch, so a side out to Stanford. Down one here in game one. Brighton field. Juilliard was there. Sharply blocked.
Vogel hitting out of the back row, but it's wide.
She came from practically the back line to come up and take a swing at that one. And now game point number 4 for the Longhorns. Sonia Barnes serving. Vogel chases it down. Brighton field takes care of business. Texas takes game 1. 15-13 on their 4th game point opportunity.
You know, Brighton field kind of has an unorthodox approach, but boy, does she take care of business, and she did there to take the first game for Texas.
Bell helmets. Courage for your head.
This is about how you go to sleep one day, running your business the same way you always have, and wake up the next morning with things like email, voicemail, PCs, pages, a new communications network for free. It's not a fairy tale, a myth, or a parable. This is about how things can really happen. This is about opening your eyes instead of closing them, and making a call instead of a wish. Network MCI, that's how.
4th and inches, Coach Bannon, he likes to punt.
Huh? No way. Oh! Check this out. Attention, Coach Bannon. Go for it. Be a man.
Oh, what do you know, Steve? They're going to go for it. Just a reminder, when you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good.
Do you like my new hat?
Kozak drops back to pass.
Jones is open in the end zone.
Throws it to Jones to drop the ball.
Bad call.
Should have punted.
Yep.
Rule number 61, icing the puck. Rule number 24, dangerous equipment. Rule number 47, charging. Rule number 25, to play the game, use a puck. The Flyers head north to take on the Canadiens at the Forum, Saturday at 7:30. The NHL rules on ESPN2.
Well, Texas beats Stanford 15-3 in game number 1, getting set for game 2. That is the first game that the Cardinal have lost in this NCAA tournament. And one of the reasons why Demetrius Sant, the freshman for Texas, and also Marie, the Longhorns, doing a terrific job at the net with the blocks, which is one thing we knew they were real good at coming in.
Yeah, I mean, they only came up with 5 team blocks in that first game, but they really did a good job of slowing Stanford down offensively. We talked about in the open, if they could slow Vogel down, which they did. I mean, she only had 6 kills in the first game. I mean, you probably say only, but, you know, that's she didn't hit that well. And I guarantee you she was thinking about that Texas block when she went up to hit.
There you see Stanford, the first game they lost in the '95 tournament just a moment ago, 15-13. Texas taking the opener. And we get set for game number 2. Nebraska awaits the winner of this one. The Huskers advance to the national championship with a win over Michigan State in 5 games earlier tonight.
You know, Stanford really didn't execute very well in that first game. They got 4 of their points off of service aces, 4 of the 13 points. So they didn't really hit well, and they didn't block all that well. And Texas, I mean, I don't think Haley would say that Texas played well, but they just kind of hung in there and waited for Stanford to make a few more mistakes and then ran away with it right there at the end.
Seems when they needed a big point, somebody got it for them. In particular, Barnes down the line was very effective.
Yes. Sands had 7 kills in the first game, Barnes 4, and Breitenfeld 4 to lead Texas. They hit 292. Stanford only hit 203.
Triefenbach will serve to start out game number 2 for Stanford. Barnes gets the side out, Texas.
Notice Triefenbach uses a jump serve. That's the first one we have seen here yet. You see it a lot more in the men's game.
Katie Austin to serve.
Yes, sir. Got one.
That was just long side out to the Cardinal.
Side out to Stanford.
Austin hitting out the back row.
Eileen Murphy, the junior from Tampa, Florida, serving for Stanford. Wendell does a nice job of redirecting that one at the net to get it around the block.
Nice net play there by Wendell.
Stanford with the 1-0 lead here in game 2.
See, this is going towards the net and it's tight. That's all she could do with it. Great dig by Breitenfeld, right up there.
And stuck by Triefenbach. Wendell dug by Chrisman. That was a smart play. Sants gets the side out for Texas. She just waited and waited for the Stanford defense to make its move and put it where they weren't.
Boy, is she savvy. It's a nice off-speed shot, top spin shot right into the corner.
Focal. And that one was blocked wide. Side out Stanford. Cardinal up 1-0. Texas took the first game. And Focal with a big block. Went solo for that one. Cardinal up 2-0.
Kristen Focal, one of the best blockers in the country. Carrie Wendell does everything but block. Wow.
Barnes puts it down. Sonia Barnes with another kill, and now she steps back to serve.
Sonia Barnes started this season all world, but she had tendinitis in her knee, and she just started picking up steam again in November.
Focal. Nobody does that better.
She's jumping high.
Focal to serve. Stanford up 2-0.
She's off, please. Come on.
Nicely done by Austin to keep it live off of Barnes' head. Terrific defense by Texas, but they couldn't get to that one. Well-deserved applause from Coach Mick Haley.
Yes, great scrambling on both sides of the net.
Stanford, however, does get the point. They're up 3-0.
Come on, down, down, down.
Sands from the back row is long.
You know, Beth, these are two big teams. Stanford's whole lineup, 6 foot or taller. Texas's whole lineup, 6 or taller, with the exception of Carrie Bush, their setter, but she's 5'11". Two very big athletic teams.
The last thing this planet needs
is another goofy gadget taking up valuable space. Yeah. Must be why Proform invented the Space Saver crosswalk. They don't call it Space Saver for nothing. Get it? Then get it.
It's a big season in the NBA. More big-time slams and jams by the league's big men. Exclusive stories on Shaq, Michael, Patrick, Hakeem, and David. Who's bigger, badder, better, weirder? The hot stuff on teams, players, coaches, and who's got the jump on 96. It's the NBA preview that gives you the big picture as only ESPN can. In-depth, up-to-date. The ESPN Pro Basketball NBA magazine. It's big, and it's on newsstands now.
Stanford out to the early lead in game 2 over Texas. After the Longhorns took game 1, 1-0. Stanford from the Pac-10 with a 29-2 record, their 15th NCAA appearance, and they've been to the national semis 9 times. There is the Stanford AD, Ted Leland, enjoying things thus far in game 2. Cardinal trying to repeat as national champions. And both of these schools, Maria, with outstanding women's athletic programs.
Absolutely. Great women's basketball teams.
Wendell with a nice play up front with the Fejka.
Focal used to play on Stanford's basketball team, and rumor has it that she won't be joining the team this year.
All-American in high school in both basketball and volleyball. How about winning 8 state championships during high school? Not a bad record. As she puts the serve into the net.
Can you spell gifted? And in the classroom, too.
And the ball finds its way out onto the court. Stanford up 5-0. Bush is serving for Texas. Put down nicely. That's Triefenbach.
It was a gorgeous set out there, too, by Wendell. Marnie's so quick she can get to that lower outside set. She banged it down the line. Boy, Marnie Triefenbach is doing a good job of hitting that line. She knows it's open, and she's executing perfectly.
Stanford up 6-0. Triefenbach, a quick substitution is, in this match, has stayed in there for Wendy Romanko, who is on the bench. Not sure if the wrist is bothering her, but Triefenbach has certainly played well enough to stay in the lineup.
They kind of have done that a lot this year. They've used Triefenbach off the bench. She tends to stay in there. But I guess when he starts her, she feels a lot of pressure, you know, to earn her spot back, and she doesn't perform as well. She's been more successful coming off the bench for them.
And Triefenbach put that one down. 7-0 Stanford in game 2.
Hey, sports fans. Hitachi Ultravision destroys the myth that there's nothing like the real thing. So get real with Hitachi and let the games begin. Hello, movie mavens. With its ultra-clear, ultra-bright, ultra-sharp picture, Hitachi Ultravision asks, who's real? To anyone who's ever guessed whodunit. I just love surprise endings, don't you? Ultravision Home Theater. TVs, VCRs, camcorders. Only from Hitachi.
These guys are persistent.
Well, they're no match for the world's first sport utility wagon.
Oh, really?
All-wheel drive Subaru Outback's got more headroom than a Cherokee.
Uh-huh.
The ground clearance of an Explorer.
So you said.
Ride smooth as any car.
Got any more of those tidbits?
What, like more stability in a turn than a Chevy Blazer?
Sure, that'll do.
That's my Subaru Outback. World's first sport utility wagon.
Stanford's run off the first 7 points. They're up in game 2 over Texas, 7-0. The winner advancing to the national championship. You can catch it here on ESPN2 Saturday at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Stanford or Texas will meet Nebraska to determine the national champion. Fedjica serving for the Cardinal. Good block. Sharpley and Murphy were there for Stanford.
Lisa Sharpley has such a great understanding of the game. She, too, is a fabulous all-around player.
Substitution, Chantel Cornelius Davis, number 14. Checks in for the Longhorns. We have not seen a whole lot of Lakeisha Bledsoe as well for the Longhorns. Apparently her injury bothering her a bit today as well. Triefenbach. We go right back to Cornelius Davis. What a dig by Wendell. Bush matches it on the other side. Triefenbach buries it on the sideline. 9-0 Cardinal, and there is Lakeisha Bledsoe over on the Texas sideline.
She sprained her ankle in the second game against Florida in their regional championship.
We saw her struggling a bit yesterday during practice, and Coach Haley wasn't sure if she would be ready to go today. 10-0 Cardinal in a blitzkrieg here in game 2, and as we speak of Bledsoe, she enters the Longhorn lineup.
You can see she has her active ankle on there, ankle support.
Fedjica serving. Sance missing wide.
Texas in a bit of a funk, not able to put the ball down. Stanford executing very well in this second game.
It's been all Stanford. Substitution, Katie Austin back into the lineup, replacing Cornelius Davis. Perhaps that first game a bit of a wake-up call for Stanford, because they've run off 12 in a row here in game 2.
Not uncommon for this Stanford squad to lose the first game of a match.
In fact, they've done that on a handful of occasions this year, and they've rallied back to win all but one. They have just 2 losses, one of that to Texas, also to Texas A&M. It's now 13-0.
Gorgeous hit there by Eileen Murphy. She's the best middle on the Stanford squad.
Fedjica continues to serve. And Texas gets a side out.
Fedjica in position, just popped out of her defensive position. Gotta stay low.
Murphy with the kill. Texas just can't seem to get anything going here in game 2. Lisa Sharpley to serve.
7th kill for Murphy.
And Sharpley's serve is wide side out Texas.
Talked about the fact that Stanford graduated 1 player, Ann Wicks. Murphy is filling her shoes and doing a good job.
Chrisman to serve for the Longhorns. Murphy, kill number 8.
It's the best I've seen Eileen Murphy play, and they are so smart. Those Stanford setters are going to her.
Triefenbach, jump serve. Focal puts it down.
Says, you weren't successful, Murphy. Give me a shot at it this time. Those oversets are so fun to hit. You just love those as a hitter. It's rare there's a blocker up. You can obviously see the ball so well since it's coming at your face.
And that will take care of game number 2. Stanford defeats Texas 15-0 to even up the match at 1-all. Reese Davis and Sports Smash coming your way before more volleyball here on ESPN2.
Your car's engine was made for the open road. But that's not where it is day in and day out. Stop-and-go driving can kill an engine by creating deposits and wear that rob performance and shorten engine life. That's why you need the added protection of TM8, a new engine treatment from Valvoline. TM8 coats moving parts with 8 friction-fighting ingredients, including Teflon. So no matter where you are, your engine will run just like it's on the open road. TM8 from Valvoline. Because driving is more stop than go.
Ooh, okay, it's a little, whoa, short. What's wrong with short? He's short. I like short.
When you're working for a special look.
Hey, it's our anniversary. Oh, why not?
Part of getting that look should include Kellogg's Special K.
He's a big boy, he can take it.
Great toasted taste, just 110 calories and fat-free. Kellogg's Special K. Great taste never looks so good.
This is too funny.
I began gymnastics competition as a child. I've always loved the sport, but competition also brings pressures. Like many other gymnasts, I resorted to extreme weight loss behaviors. Every athlete knows that striving for excellence requires sacrifices, but no medal, prize, or public acclaim is worth the sacrifice of your mental and physical health.
If you are struggling with unhealthy eating behavior, the National Eating Disorders Screening Program can help you. Contact your campus health or counseling center for more information.
Hi there, Reese Davis along with you. Stanford opening up a can of whooping on Texas even. That match will get you back to Amherst in just a bit, but now baseball. You think Christmas is taxing the roof on your credit card bill? Apparently no preset spending limit for the Cleveland Indians. The Tribe's shopping spree continues by signing former Cy Young winner Jack McDowell. 2 years, $10.15 million, a club option for a third year. That brings the Indians' off-season spending to $43 million, give or take a few $100,000. Craig Biggio celebrates his 30th birthday by signing up with the Astros again, 4 years, $22.36 million, and that's quite a way to say happy birthday. Football now. The Packer medical staff calls the improvement miraculous. Reggie White, the religious man, he might call it Lazarus-like. One day after White was declared dead for the season with a torn hamstring, the Packers list him as questionable for Saturday's game against the Saints.
A situation where, I think it's another situation of something miraculous happening to me again, and I thank God for it. I mean, it's nothing, I can't explain it. I can't explain why my leg is not hurt as bad as it did Tuesday.
Pro Bowl rosters are out, and 10 Cowboys make the squad, including the usual suspects, Aikman and Emmett in there, along with Barry Sanders. How about the receivers? 3 of these guys have over 100 receptions on the season, and that fellow named Jerry Rice, he's not too bad. He's just got 96. In the AFC, before the season, you would have thought Jim Harbaugh had to book a Carnival cruise or something to get to Hawaii. But the Colts captain come back, one of the AFC quarterbacks, 15 TD passes, and we've thrown 4 interceptions. This guy started the season on the bench behind Craig Erickson as far as the rest of the AFC skill positions. But even the linemen are skilled. We just used that as a catchphrase. Dan Marino, also a quarterback. Jeff Blake starting his first, or making his first Pro Bowl appearance, I should say. Running backs Warren Falk and the rookie from New England, Curtis Martin. As for the receivers, Carl Pickens of Cincinnati has 16 touchdown catches. Of course, from Mr. Blake, his teammate up there with the Bengals. Coates and Sharp, not a bad pair of tight ends for those quarterbacks to toss to. We've got some NCAA volleyball going. Texas and Stanford are locked up. The winner gets Nebraska. But first, we're back with more Smash right after this break.
The classic Airstream, around $5,000. The classic Bic, around 19 cents. What do they have in common? They're both worth every penny.
zippers freeze.
Do you love beer? Can you name the 4 basic ingredients of beer? Have you ever saved a really cool beer bottle? If you could only have one thing in your refrigerator, what would it be? How many different languages can you order a beer in? Have you ever thought you might try brewing your own beer? Do you love beer?
Roll into Pep Boys right now and get a full set of 4 70,000-mile tires for just $169. That's any size, any 4 70,000-mile tires in stock for just $169 at Pep Boys now. Need antifreeze? At Pep Boys and Parts USA, we've got this and that and this and that. We have every major brand at everyday low prices, like this for only that. New temp for just $3.99 a gallon after mail-in rebate at all Pep Boys and Parts USA stores now.
The customized 1947 Harley Davidson, about $15,000. The Big Twin Shaver, about 35 cents. What do they have in common? They're both worth every penny.
Welcome back. A meeting of the Georgetown Alumni Association at the Garden tonight. Dikembe Mutombo, Patrick Ewing going head-to-head as the Nuggets and the Knicks squared off. This guy, Charles Oakley in civvies, he did not go to Georgetown. Neither did Hubert Davis. He's a Tar Heel, and he's got 3. Knicks up by 3 early, but the Nuggets keep it close. Stith! Brian Stith over Ewing. Game tied at 17 in the second. The Georgetown guy, Ewing, showing the kid a little lefty hook. Knicks had it by 3, but the Nuggets stormed back. Jumbo Mutombo with a big slam. Denver had a 6-point lead at that point. They go on to win it 103-94. The Nuggets now back at 500 after that terrible 0-6 start. Rick Smits hit the game-winning jumper just under 2 seconds left to go at a game-high 28 as the Pacers knock off the Raptors. Scotty had 30, Jordan had 22 as the Bulls beat the Hawks 127-108. Dick Motta missing the Maverick game due to the death of his father. His Mavericks taking on the Spurs, and they're up by 3. The NHL now, Lightning and Flyers. Tampa Bay going after its 5th straight win with Jeff Reese in goal. First period, Eric Desjardins to John LeClaire. Flyers had a 1-0 lead. LeClaire has added another goal, and so did Eric Lindros, and the Flyers are now up 3-0. Islanders in Washington tied up at 2. Joey Juneau with a shorthanded goal. Patrick Flatley's also scored. Florida and Boston doing battle. Bees up big. Calgary on top of St. Louis. Going to get you back out to volleyball in just a bit. Texas and Stanford are all locked up. The winner gets Nebraska. Beth and Maria are back after this.
He doesn't know it, but I found this under his pillow. I flipped through these great pages on sports, fitness, adventure. Now I know where all the excitement in our life comes from. Men's Journal. He really cares about living life better. Men's Journal covers everything better, from the best in mountain bikes to fishing in Alaska, from rafting down the Colorado to building a better body. It tells him how to get started, where to go, and what to do when he gets there. Men's Journal shows him where to find the best of everything. And every issue tells him how to look better, be healthier, and build endurance. From toning up his abs to tuning up our sex life. Men's Journal tells you everything about living life better.
Hey.
Start doing it better. Subscribe now to Men's Journal for only $11.97 and get this 200-page equipment guide absolutely free.
Call 1-800-863-2500. That's 1-800-863-2500.
Texas taking game 1, 15-13, but Stanford roaring back to take the second, 15-0. Welcome to Amherst. Beth Mowens along with Maria Barnes. And Maria, has to be somewhat disheartening for Texas. They pretty much stopped the top 2 hitters for Stanford, but the third one's killing them.
That's true. Eileen Murphy, boy, she elevated her game. She was the difference. You know, it kind of reminds me of the match that we just saw, where one of the kind of players that isn't used to carrying the offensive load has risen to do so. We saw Billy Winsett do that for Nebraska, and that just tells you how well Stanford is playing. I think when a team is playing really well, that's what tends to happen. And, you know, Eileen Murphy has 9 kills. She's hitting .818. And you can see here, kills the big difference. Stanford with 39, Texas 24. And also Stanford has served better. You know, it was really important for Texas to come out serving Stanford tough. And they did in the first game, but they didn't do it in the second game. Texas normally a very good short serving team, and they need to go back to that strategy, and they need to put some more pressure on Stanford with their serving.
Stanford with the bagel in game 2, 15-0. And let's see how the Longhorns react. I'm sure they heard about it from Coach Haley in the locker room a few moments ago. There you see Haley trying to get back to the national championship matchup. He won the title in '88 and '81. And Susan Chrisman to serve to open up game 3. And a side out as once again Eileen Murphy with the kill. Murphy to serve. Vocal blocked by Barnes. Sonia Barnes has been very impressive for the Longhorns tonight.
Very impressive, 6'1", very athletic. Look how high she gets over the net quickly. Very tough and aggressive competitor.
There's another block for Barnes.
She's quick too. Boy, she gets up fast.
Texas with the 1-0 lead.
Her coach describes her as being very independent. He says she flourishes with latitude. Kind of one of those players that's better left alone to do her own thing.
Wendell with the miss hit, 2-0 Texas. Well, Barnes has certainly been coming through so far for the Longhorns.
Well, you know, with a name like Barnes.
I knew it was going to come to that somehow.
And how about Sands there? Putting on a little blocking clinic. Solo block at the net. She was the MVP of the East Regional Tournament.
She had such a terrific outing in the win against Stanford, too, earlier in the year. And there's a side out for the Cardinal. Ifejika ends a 3-0 Longhorn run. Carrie Wendell to serve. 2 times the National Player of the Year. She shared it this year with Allison Weston, and Sants puts it down. Texas has definitely come out a different bunch that played in game 2.
It's as if they changed their uniforms. I don't recognize this team at all from that last game.
Playing much more like the team that showed up for game 1, and that's got to please Coach Haley. Barnes, another block.
You know, that's the beauty of volleyball, though. It's such a momentum sport. This is really not all that uncommon.
Sonia Barnes and Demetria Sants have the Longhorns fired up. They're out to a 4-0 lead over the defending national champs here in game number 3.
Now, a brief on the Olympic Games from Haynes.
The first Olympians had strength, courage, and spirit. What they didn't have was clothes. Maybe that's why coming in first was so important.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Think if they had Haynes back then, they could have enjoyed Haynes' style and comfort and been spared the embarrassment of finishing 2nd or 3rd.
All rise for the national anthem.
Thank you.
I'm Michael Jordan, and you've been briefed.
How do you wake up a 200-pound gorilla? Very carefully. He awakes irritable, he moves slowly, stooped in posture, and his ferocious appearance wards off lesser creatures. But while grooming, the invigorating scent of Coast revives the beast. He luxuriates in the abundant lather, so that finally, he's alert.
Animal.
And eager to face the jungle out there. Coast, the eye-opener.
Women's National Volleyball Semifinal, Texas up on Stanford 4-0 in game 3. If basketball is your game, check out ESPN Saturday. Starts out at 4 p.m. Eastern with Seton Hall, Ohio State. That's followed up by Louisville and Georgia Tech in the Jeep Eagle Classic at 7:30. There's still more. California, Minnesota at 9:30 Eastern. That's right, a quadruple header, finishing it up with Oregon, Fresno State, Saturday, midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on ESPN. Texas with renewed vigor here in game number 3. And they continue to roll.
Lefty Katie Austin finds a way to put the ball down.
After Stanford took game 2, 15-0. And Texas up 5-zip here in the 3rd. Off the block, nicely played by Sharpley.
Sharpley, too, played with the U.S. national team this past summer. She played in 2 matches at the end of July, and then she decided to return to Stanford, but don't be at all surprised to see her on our 2000 Olympic team.
And a lift called on Wendell.
I think that call was on Sharpley's set. Set outside to Brightonfield, pushes it through.
Triefenbach got a piece of the back line, side out Stanford. Texas up 5-0 here in game 3. These 2 teams split games 1 and 2. Keisha Bledsoe is back on the floor for the Longhorns. That time the Cardinal blasted through the block.
Focal from behind the 10-foot line. And there is Bledsoe playing with a sprained ankle.
5-1 Horns. There's Murphy again. Taking a nice pass from Sharpley.
Boy, everything's going her way tonight. She barely touches this. Yet it hits the floor. The ball didn't clear the net. That's 4 hits for Texas.
Another point for Stanford. Now down 2.
See here. Ball goes right into the net.
After falling down 5-0, Cardinal have rallied for 3 straight. And that whistle will go against Murphy. So a side out to Texas.
Berna Klebnikin didn't like that block by Murphy.
Carrie Bush to serve for the Longhorns. Arnie Triefenbach, side out.
Triefenbach's come alive for Stanford. She didn't start the match. Wendy Ramadka did. Triefenbach came in off the bench for her.
I've seen Triefenbach ever since. Austin puts it down.
McKaylee describes her as a breath of fresh air. He says that she has so much fun when she's out there on the court. She's just one of those rare players that would play volleyball every waking moment of her life if she could. She just loves the game.
Nice dig there from Austin.
Oh, come on.
Wendell off of Barnes, out of bounds.
Wendell hits that line so well. She's a lefty. She can hit it on the left. She can hit it on the right. Look at her go up and just nail the line right around the block. They gave her the line. She took it.
Triefenbach with the jump serve. Into the net. Substitution coming on for Texas. Chrisman is in, replacing Bledsoe. 5-3 Texas here in game 3. And a point for the Longhorns.
Stanford struggling with their ball control. Passing the ball a little too close to the net.
Wendell puts it down.
Boy, that's a gorgeous hit by Carrie Wendell. Her goal as a player is to be the first women's collegiate to win 3 NCAA titles as a starter. Chances are pretty good.
She's got 2, working on a 3rd right now. She has picked up the pace here in game 3.
Talk about picking up the pace. Sonia Barnes has been doing a great job for Texas. Very keen player.
Really hitting stride late this season. All Southwest Conference tournament team. Kristen Focal had been quiet here in game 3 up until that point.
You know, Focal jumps so well. She kind of hangs in the air and hits over the block, where a lot of times she'll be up there for a while. The block will be on its way down and she finds a way through it. Difficult player to block.
Demetria Sants right back at you. Side out, Texas.
Talk about a player that can jump. Sants touches 10-5.
That's getting up in the air.
Yeah. Top of the antenna.
Focal off the block. Side out Stanford. Focal back to serve.
Side out Stanford.
Got a little timeout as there's some moisture on the floor. Texas took the opener. Stanford came back to win game 2. Focal's numbers, 12 kills with 8 digs and 1 block. All-American last year, named to the second-team All-American squad this season by the AVCA. And a substitution as Juilliard is onto the floor, replacing Eileen Murphy.
Katrine Juilliard is the backup setter at Stanford, and she her role this year is as a defensive specialist.
Right in field. Good play at the net from both sides. And Texas with a block. And that time a bad set from Bush. 6-4 Texas as Stanford picks up a point. Another point for the Cardinal.
Serving has been so key for Stanford in this match so far. When they've been serving well, they've been winning. It's not the player to go at. Sants is a great passer.
Sonia Barnes puts that one down. Side out.
That gorgeous hit there by Barnes. She goes so wide, it makes her tough to block. She does a good job of turning the ball back into the court.
Barnes to serve. Triefenbach puts it down.
And Arnie Triefenbach came in off the bench for Ramadka and is playing great. She really is a great jumper. She's a good passer. She's a good blocker. And Murphy's back in the match. She had some blood that they had to, I think she may have cut her leg open right below her knee and kind of taped it up so she quit bleeding all over the floor.
Don't want to have that. Sants with a kill. By the way, also on the floor for Stanford, number 4, Shelley Foster.
Near Sants from behind the 10-foot line. Hit.
Bush serving. Stanford looking for a touch, but they won't get one.
You can see Murphy thought about that play too much. She went up and she should have just hammered it or set it to her setter, but tried to pound it deep in the hole. Unsuccessful.
Fed up with sports on strike? Don't hurt your head over it. Strike back with a sports video collection that'll be a smash in your home for years to come. The totally awesome sports collection from ChoiceMart. 5 incredible sports videos for just $19.95. Just $19.95 and you get Sports Blooper Mania, the lighter side of baseball, incredible plays, pro sports bloopers, and amazing superstars. 5 different tapes with exclusive footage, much of it never before seen on TV. You'll laugh, you'll cheer, You'll cringe. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. It's not available anywhere else, so get your credit card ready, pick up the phone, and call now.
Call 1-800-433-0600 now to get the totally awesome sports collection for you or your favorite sports fan. 5 incredible videos for one low price of $19.95 and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-800-433-0600 right now.
Texas up on Stanford 7-5 in game 3. It's definitely a different Longhorn bunch than the one we saw in game number 2 when they were shut out 15-0. Both teams starting to settle down a little bit here in game number 3.
When Stanford stages a comeback, it's not uncommon for this woman, Carrie Wendell, to be leading the way. She scored her 10th triple-double in the Pacific Regional semifinals with 10 kills, 29 assists, and 11 digs. She hit .529. Only 2 other players in the country have more than 1 triple-double, and Carrie Wendell has 10. Wendy Carter of Ball State has 2, and Lisa Sharpley with 3.
One of the big reasons why she is the co-national player of the year. Down. Sands from the back row.
Sands picking up her 13th kill. They're setting her everywhere. She is really effective from the back row.
She is a force from just about anywhere on the floor. Gotta know where she's at.
Can't imagine how well she'll be hitting this 3 more years from now when she's a senior.
Scary thought for the opposition. Murphy getting the side out for Stanford, and now Triefenbach to serve. Winner moves on to the national championship game against Nebraska, and again, the Cardinals serve is effective from Triefenbach.
5th ace for Stanford in the match. And this is a great serve by Triefenbach because it's well placed right in between the 2 passers.
Sands into the front row.
Boy, she's incredible. A lot of giddy up on that swing.
Brisbane will serve.
In a similar class with Kristen Fokel, really, and
absolutely
doesn't take long to take attendance. Nice block by Texas.
Katie Austin coming up with the big block. She is a freshman, a true freshman. Great all-around player.
Fokel tries again, and that time she gets it through the block. Side out. Texas by a deuce. Paula McNamee checking on for the Cardinal, number 7. Nice play by Katie Austin. Side out. Texas jumps out to the 3-0. Check that 5-0 lead here in game number 3, and they have held on to that lead. Up 2 right now. Again, Texas with the block.
John Shaw put McNamee in the game. He uses her to try to make something happen, mix things up. She didn't stay in long, though. Afejika coming back in.
For Stanford, Barbara Afejika, the single match replacing Paula McNamee.
Well, Texas has done what they wanted to do in terms of holding their own at the net, and then some, really. With the blocks, they've got the 3-point lead right now. Fokel off the mark, right in the direction of Coach Mick Haley over on the Texas bench. Who's got a laugh for Kristen. Quick to get out of the way of that one.
I tell you, Texas is doing a good job of slowing her down.
Wendell blocked by Sands, but out of bounds. Side out for Stanford, down 10-6.
There you see Sands. Big solo block up there. Just out of bounds, though.
Murphy got out of the way of that one, and she may have been better served to try and get a hand on it. A kill for Sonia Barnes. Side out, Sands will serve. Diving dig made by Bush. Fokel drops one down.
That was pretty.
Side out Cardinal.
Call this the campfire defense. Everybody's around the outside looking at each other to go for it, and it drops right in the middle.
That was some nice hang time from Vogel to wait and find that spot.
Vogel's a little off tonight, though. She's usually much more consistent than we've seen her. I think a lot of that has to do with the tough blocking by UT.
Side out to Texas, and Barnes
came down, made sure she was okay, and jumped back in the game.
Bush did take an elbow to the eye.
Yeah.
Appears to be all right, though, and a side out for Stanford.
A little red.
Tough character, though, the senior from Milwaukee. She was on the All-East regional team.
And again, Stanford scores a point by serving at Brighton Field.
Point for the Cardinal. Stanford trails by 3. Bush sets Barnes, or excuse me, that's Bledsoe. And Brightonfield puts that one into the net. Stanford trailing by 2.
Brightonfield, a second-team All-American, not having a great night. Stanford is being ruthless. They're serving at her, going at her, blocking her.
We've got a timeout with Texas up on Stanford 10-8 in Game 3. More women's volleyball coming up.
Ah, the fresh autumn air. Where are those darn flashlights?
Ow! Dependable Duracell batteries. Nothing lasts longer.
Hey, where's mine?
The Copper Top. No battery is stronger, longer.
Yeah.
No, they were incredible.
They were beautiful.
The male one. The female one. CK1. A fragrance for everyone from Calvin Klein. Texas up on Stanford 10-8, but it is the Cardinal who have picked up the last couple of points to cut the deficit. There you see Demetria Sands with 14 kills for the freshman.
Very heavily recruited last year by both Stanford and UCLA. McKaylee tells the story. He was really nervous when he'd see their coaches at different tournaments and things, and she never told Mick, I'm definitely coming to Texas. And turns out after he got her that her whole room was painted with UT posters and paraphernalia. She planned on going there the whole time.
Oh, Coach Haley, though, said he had to sweat it out with everybody else. He got Demetria, though.
Bonus.
Right now, Texas up by 1, and there's a kill for Jane Winkle, side out.
Haley says the best is yet to come with her.
10-9 Texas, Carrie Bush serving. Riefenbach finds the floor.
Riefenbach picking up her 10th kill. She has been effective. Riefenbach's got a great jump. She's quick arm swing right through the block. And there she comes up with a big block. A solo block for Riefenbach.
Winkle was denied. The Cardinals tie it at 10.
Watch X!
Wendell with a block. Good digs on both sides. And Texas finally able to put it away. Katie Austin
Gets the side out.
Great defense on both sides of the net. There were some hard swings in there, and both sides just digging it up. Fejica with a nice dig, then one by Sants. Not able to get to this one, though. Focal gets a fist on it.
Tied at 10 here in game 3. Blocked by Murphy.
What a play by Murphy. She got up and down very quickly. She was up early, came down, and back up. Look at this athleticism by Murphy. Really quick.
Triefenbach with the jump serve. Latanya Williams, by the way, into the Texas lineup. Focal. There's Williams. She hit the block on 3 occasions and learned her lesson and goes over the top of it.
Talk about a savvy play by Sants. Stuff, 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 and then in the hole. You know, this is reminding me of a men's game with all this blocking.
Tied at 10 in game 3. Neither team really able to get the upper hand.
There's a break for Wendell because I think that ball was on its way out.
Side out Stanford, tied at 10. Murphy back to serve.
Oh, Focal. Not exactly what Bush needs after an elbow to the eye to dig a Focal spike with her face.
Look out below. Smile from Focal after that one.
Wendy Ramadka for Stanford can tell you how hard she hits the ball. Focal broke her wrist. She had a hairline fracture in her wrist from digging a spike from Kristen Focal. Kristen Focal was the Dial Award winner her senior year in high school.
How about this for some power?
Yeah, let's look at this spike again from Kristen Focal. And actually pretty good reactions by Bush. She protected her face at the last second with her hands. I mean, that was right at the 10-foot line. It was in front of the 10-foot line. There she is. As I mentioned, she was the Dial Award winner her senior year in high school, along with Tiger Woods, who plays golf at Stanford. Very decorated athlete, though only a sophomore.
She's got the double-double with 15 kills and 11 digs. The National Freshman of the Year a year ago.
It was a great recruiting year for Don Shaw. He got Focal, who was the #1 recruit, Sharpley, who was the #2 recruit, and then Barbara Fejica, who was considered the best recruit out of Canada. So last year was a big recruiting year for Stanford, and next year is supposedly going to be much of the same, though Stanford's not losing a whole lot.
The biggest shoes to fill would be those of Wendell.
Huge shoes. And Triefenbach.
Stanford has run off the last 5 to take an 11-10 lead here in game 3. And Murphy into the net side out. Katie Austin now to serve. And Murphy will come out. Katrine Juilliard back in. She's been used for some defensive purposes along that back row.
Come on, start.
Sonia Barnes putting it down. Ties it at 11.
Her 10th kill of the match. She really gets up. Quick reactions there. Demetria Sants is doing a good job of slowing Carrie Wendell down on the outside there. You can see Wendell working really hard to hit that sharp angle around Sands.
Another point for the Horns. They take the 12-1 lead, 12-11 lead. Some indecision from Wendell and Fejica. And Sands off the block.
Her court sense is unbelievable. She seems to know where the holes are, and she is so good at using the block, hitting high and off the inside hands of Wendell there, knowing that Wendell is the weaker blocker of those two.
Texas 2 points away from taking a 2-1 lead.
Bell helmets. Courage for your head.
It's time for the NHL. So when they ice it, hook it, save it, stick it, stop it, play it, and score it, you'll need to know. NHL Tonight on ESPN2. News, features, and highlights. Sports Center for the hockey addict. Tuesday through Saturday at 11:30 p.m. As the clock winds down, the season heats up on ESPN2.
Texas leading Stanford 13-11 in Game 3, trying to take the 2-1 advantage over the defending national champs.
And boy, has Mick Haley done a great job with the Texas program. It's his 16th season, 498, 129, and 1. So you know what? If he won tonight and he won tomorrow night, it would be his 500th win.
There you go. Overall, he's looking for his 750th in his career. That's wide. And a game point for the Longhorns.
Longhorns have been very steady in this game, and look at that smile on Haley's face.
He's having a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, he is. Done a great job with this team. They're ranked #1 in the nation in team blocks with 3.6 a game.
He's got a game point here. Wendell gets the side out. Texas has run off 4 points in a row to get the game point. Wendell serving. Just does skid over the net.
Wow. There's a little heat from Sharpley on the outside.
Stanford within 2.
First team All Pac-10 and All-American.
Ace for Wendell. 14-13, Stanford within 1.
Wendell's third ace in the match.
Wendell with the dig.
Sharpley coming up with big offensive plays for Stanford. There's nothing that she doesn't do for this team. A great setter, #2 in kills, 2nd in aces.
Sands with a big kill. Tied at 14, have to win by 2. Sands to serve for Texas. Stanford, after facing that game point, ran off 3 in a row. Sharpley, long. Another game point for the Longhorns.
Focal got a touch.
Side out to the Cardinal. Stanford, remember, has dropped just 1 game in the NCAA tournament, and Focal misses wide on the serve. They had won 39 straight games at the end of the season and the postseason heading into today's match. Now they are in jeopardy of losing 2 here to Texas. And there is Sharpley for Stanford.
Nice play at the net there by Sharpley. Very patient, just waited for the ball to get up on top of the net and put it down. See her move to the outside here. Really is a great blocking setter.
Nice dig by Triefenbach. Sands returns the favor. Triefenbach puts it down. Ties it at 15.
And again, Triefenbach comes up with the big terminating hit. Her 11th kill of the match.
Fedjica serving, have to win by 2.
Triefenbach's one of those players that plays her biggest matches against the best competition. She's always been that way throughout her collegiate career.
Sharpley.
Smart of Wendell to keep going to Sharpley. She's been so hot. And Wendell doesn't give it away when she sets the ball. Look at this set by Wendell. You see her look. She's looking at the hitters on the other side. She kind of did a little head fake there. You had no idea she was going back to Sharpley.
Now a game point for Stanford. Triefenbach wide, side out.
I've never seen Stanford hit like this. They're either terminating or they're missing. They're usually not this erratic. Usually you're better about just keeping the ball in play.
Carrie Bush to serve for Texas. Sharpley has just come up huge here in game 3. Side out.
13th kill for Sharpley. She does a great job of avoiding the block.
Second game point now for the Cardinal.
She's off, outside.
That falls on the Stanford side, side out.
Don Shaw, the winningest coach, collegiate women's volleyball. It's a win percentage of 846.
Cover, cover.
Actually, I should say Division I. I only go for sure Division.
Nice dig by Breitenfield. Fedjica with a nice dig. 2 in a row.
You can see Carrie Wendell go up to dink that last ball with a big smile on her face. She is having so much fun out there. I mean, she is in her element. Look at these digs by Fedjica. Set outside to Wendell, and she finds the hole.
Everybody enjoying watching this one. Another game point, Stanford. And a lift called against the Longhorns. The Cardinal fight off 2 game points and come back to win it here in game 3. 17-15, the final. They take the 2-1 lead heading into game 4. Plenty more to come from Amherst when we return after this.
Burger King announces a truly magical opening. Disney's Toy Story, the exciting new animated adventure now in theaters that brings toys to life. And now at Burger King, get your kids one of 4 Toy Story puppets for just $1.99 each when you buy any value meal. They're great to get and to give. $1.99 Toy Story puppets. Collect all 4. You'll give your kids a little taste of magic. Only at Burger King.
The revolution will be led by Jason Kidd, Jimmy Jackson, Eddie Jones, Joe Smith, and Kevin Garnett. But it will not be followed by post-game, up-close, and personal interviews because because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised, and the revolution will not fail. For as it fulfills the unfulfilled promise of Hank Gathers and Ben Wilson, the revolution is about basketball, and basketball is the truth.
It's tough to describe a headache. You just want it gone. But now with Tylenol, 2 Advil work better on tough headache pain. There is Excedrin, but that's aspirin, and the ingredient in Tylenol, and caffeine. I don't want all that. I'll go with Advil.
Advil contains the #1 doctor-prescribed pain reliever in its class.
Nothing is proven to work better or last longer than Advil.
And now, introducing new Advil Gel Caplets. One more advance for Advil. Advanced medicine for pain.
Today's college student athletes face unparalleled pressures. The NCAA and its members provide the tools to help student athletes meet the challenges of life beyond the playing field through the Champs Life Skills Program. This program seeks to assure student athletes of success academically, athletically, and emotionally. The Champs Life Skills Program, preparing the whole person.
This message provided by the NCAA.
Stanford has taken the last 2 games, 15-zip and 17-15, to take the 2-1 lead over Texas, and both teams really elevated their games in that 3rd game. Stanford down at one point, 14-11. They fought off 2 game points, had 2 of their own, and then finally put it away, 17-15. And credit Ifejika with some terrific digs to keep Stanford alive.
And the lady standing next to her, Marnie Triefenbach, she's hitting .409. She has 11 kills in the match. She's done a great job coming off the bench. She went in for Ramadka. She has been on fire. Really terminating.
Stanford has just not allowed Texas to shut down the 2 big guns without having anybody else pick up the pace a little bit. And we've seen at times Focal and Wendell look a bit out of sync, and the other players have really been there. Murphy early on in the match, and now those 2 in game 3.
Well, we talked about the depth that Stanford has, and they've showed it. You know, they really have shown it. In Texas, they have so many go-to players. I mean, I didn't realize they had so many players that could put the ball to the floor, and a few of their players that I don't think they expected such great performances out of. Katie Austin has been fabulous, and Barnes. Brightonfield hasn't had a career match, but the other players too have filled in and brought the team up to another level.
Texas will have to rebound from losing out on those 2 game points. They were up 14-11, and now need game 4 to stay alive. Kristen Focal to serve the started out for Stanford. The winner advances to the national championship. You can catch that Saturday afternoon on ESPN2. Nebraska, the #1 team in the nation, awaits the winner here. They were victorious over Michigan State in 5 games earlier tonight, and there's Eileen Murphy with a kill.
15th kill for Murphy. She has been unstoppable. It's a great line hit.
Focal serve into the net, side out.
I doubt Kristen Focal is thrilled with her performance tonight. Though she has 16 kills, she is leading the Stanford squad in kills.
She's had a couple of serves into the net. Murphy has to be pleased with her play. She steps back to serve after the side out.
Watch it!
Sonia Barnes. Nicely done.
Boy, what a competitor she is. Very aware of what's going on the other side of the net, too.
She's got a couple of All-Americans on her side of the net, several on the other side, and she's played right at their level.
Absolutely.
Another kill for the Cardinal. There you see Sonia Barnes, junior. Coach Haley says she just continues to improve with each game. Block up front.
Probably would have received a lot more recognition had she not had these injuries. Here you can see great block outside by Sharpley.
Barnes to serve for Texas.
Come on, Carrie.
Sharpley. Long on that attempt, and a point for Texas. They tie it at 1.
A rare hitting error for Lisa Sharpley. She is just wide with that hit.
Come here, 1. 1, 2, 3.
Good play by Breitenfield.
How about that hang time by Breitenfield? Really reached high on that block.
She waited for Triefenbach to come down. She stayed up a little longer.
Come here, 1. Come on.
That time Marnie wins the battle.
She beat the block there. Great arm swing Marnie Triefenbach has. See how quickly she gets in there. The middle blocker didn't have time to close in at all. A lot of that has to do with great set too.
With the jump serve.
Sharpley called in the net.
So a side out to Texas. Horns up 2-1 here in game 4. Stanford, however, up 2-1 in the match. Kerry Bush serving.
Come on, Wendell. Come on, try to get through. Run.
Texas continues to impress with its blocking ability. That time they couldn't get to Kristen Focal, side out.
17th kill for Focal.
Vejica serving. And into the net, Jane Winkle. Stanford picks up a point. We're tied at 2.
We've seen some really powerful hitting in this match so far. I mean, it's bombs away volleyball between Sance and Focal and Murphy and Barnes.
Just wide on the shot from Austin. I wonder if the formulators of the game down the street in Holyoke 100 years ago thought the women would be playing at this level with this power game that we've seen today.
She's back row. Go!
Blocked by Blakely, but Murphy into the net, side out.
Didn't agree with that call.
Stanford up 3-2, trying to close out Texas. Longhorns need game 4. Big time block of Kristen Focal. That was Katie Austin.
Texas did a good job there. They just moved in, took away Focal's angle. She's not hitting line. She hasn't been hitting line much in this match. Kind of got her number.
Austin with a pretty play picks up a point for Texas.
Katie Austin, she is a fabulous all-around player for Texas. Great right side blocker, consistent passer. Nice cover by Vejica.
Take cover on that kill from Demetria Sance. 5-3 Texas.
Boy, can she jump. What a hammer of an arm swing she has. She beat the block there. Amazingly quick.
Come on, X! Go! Hit it!
Sance. This touches it over the top of that block.
She has every shot in the book. We have seen her use the block in every way possible. We've seen her pound the ball to the ground, both down the line and cross court. She is such a complete hitter.
A vast repertoire. The Longhorns have run off 4 in a row to take the 6-3 lead in game 4.
I got it! Tap the Rockies, cruise light. Tap the Rockies, cruise light.
Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
Tap the Rockies, cruise light.
A friend of mine said I should try America Online. So I did.
I've gotten help with my golf swing, planned my next vacation. I even get stock price updates every 15 minutes. America Online puts over 100 newspapers and magazines right on my screen. I've got worldwide email, point-and-click internet access, and a great web browser. Plus, new features keep getting added. Call the toll-free number and you'll receive your free startup kit and 10 free hours to look around. It's worth a try. You'll see.
Texas leading Stanford 6-3 here in Game 4 National Women's Volleyball Semifinal. Women's hoops coming up Saturday on ESPN2, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. It's the Lady Lions of Penn State and the Jayhawks of Kansas. Saturday afternoon, women's college hoops on ESPN2. Here, Stanford with a big advantage in kills, but Texas hanging tough.
Boy, that's a lopsided stat. 46 to 76.
Add to that as Lisa Sharpley gets one for the side out.
I think that 15-0 game by Stanford is probably the reason that stat is so lopsided. Seems to be much closer than that.
Cardinal took game 2, 15-0. Sand's so difficult to defend. You just don't know how she's going to hurt you.
You know, her mother coached her for 2 years in high school. And I guess her mother is a pretty savvy player, played a long time ago. And she's taught her a lot about the game. She exudes so much confidence in her freshman. Never a rattled expression. She seems so in control of everything that's going on the court.
Well, if there is an argument about who's the freshman of the year, she is certainly stating a good case for herself here tonight. Side out Texas's Focal continues to struggle on her serve tonight.
Remember last year at the NCAA championship, she didn't really play well the first few games, and then at the end, she poured it on and came alive for Stanford. Against UCLA.
Focal covered a lot of ground and gets the kill.
18th kill for Focal out of the back row. So she and Sands are taking turns pounding the ball out of the back row.
They are putting on a show here in Amherst. Murphy. Second straight service error for Stanford. Demetria Sands to serve. Down.
That was a nice play by Wendell because she faked. You didn't think she was going to go up and hit that ball. She looked like she was going to set it. At the last minute, she turned and just pounded it. Look at this. See here? Oops, let's hit. The blocker's not going to be up against that.
Disguise that very nicely.
Barnes. 13th kill of the match for Barnes.
She serves for Texas. Substitution, Jane Winkle on for Texas. Bradenfield. What a dig. What a save. Puts it down for Texas. 7-3 Longhorns, and they had to earn that point.
A couple fabulous defensive plays in that rally. Dig by Focal. Triefenbach blocked back. Triefenbach gets to this one. Focal just keeps it in play. Check out this dig by Eileen Murphy. under the ball, and then Wendell off the court to save it.
When I'm playing some weak game, I dream I'm writing a comic on my computer about Mr. Greed, who owns a baseball team that's a front for the League of Total Evil. And the captain, Radax, is out to destroy Earth, but this mutant superhero, Sharktooth, chucks a 400-mile-an-hour fastball that puts his butt on the disabled list for good.
Stop dreaming. Start creating your own comics on CD-ROM with Comic Creator. Get it.
Texas leading game 4, 7-3. Stanford, 78 digs to 62 for the Longhorns. Kerry Wendell, the All-American, two-time All-American.
It's one of the best defensive teams I've ever seen from Stanford. Much of that due to their assistant coach, Denise Corlett, who trains them defensively. Done a great job.
Good kill from Ifejika.
She's been kind of quiet in this match so far.
Side out to Stanford. Triefenbach will serve.
Watch.
Focal.
There's a double block up there and a digger in position to dig that ball, and still no one able to. Around the block and at the left side digger, skying off the floor.
She just gets every inch of her body behind those.
As does Sants, and she does there from behind the 10-foot line.
Texas up 7-4. And another substitution, Katie Austin back on.
Boy, Sants and Focal are like two prize fighters duking it out in the ring.
Come on, Kerry. Coming in, Katie.
Focal blocks. Oh! Blocks right back. Brightonfield. From way in the back row, Triefenbach.
Nice play by Triefenbach. Good 14 feet back in the court.
Ifejika will serve. Neither team will give an inch here in game 4.
I don't know if I've ever seen two teams pound the ball as much as these two teams have. I mean, normally the women's game is more of a finesse game. You see more off speeds or tools or dinks, but this has really been a pound fest. A lot of offensive strength.
Eileen Murphy puts this one down.
Speaking of offensive strength, she has had a ton in this match. Got to be the best match she's ever played.
A dig from Ifejika.
Wow.
Focal got a piece of it, but was into the net. Side out Texas. Susan Chrisman re-enters the game for the Longhorns and will serve. Texas up 7-4. Murphy that time missing the mark. Point Longhorns.
Rare hitting error for Murphy.
8-4 Texas. Longhorns trying to force a game 5. Murphy caught a line, side out.
She does a really good job of hitting the ball deep, which is not easy to do with that quick set. She's not one of those middles that pounds the ball straight to the floor.
Substitution now, Maureen McLaren, number 11, into the Stanford lineup. She's on to serve. Sands blocked by Murphy. Point Cardinal.
That hasn't happened much tonight. Sands has been pretty effective hitting. Murphy just has her number here.
That one put down by Triefenbach. Stanford within 2. Sands. She's been there when Texas has needed her all day. Austin back to serve.
I don't know if I've ever seen a freshman carry a team like she is doing. I mean, she's getting great effort out of everyone else, but she is truly the most explosive offensive weapon for them and has been their go-to player throughout the match.
Murphy with her 19th kill.
Look at that 1-foot takeoff.
She seems to be hitting harder as the game progresses.
Yes. She's just warming up.
Juilliard on to serve. We have seen some rising stars in the women's college volleyball scene with Murphy and Barnes here tonight. There's Sands with a nice block.
Set a little low. Wendell had a hard time getting up for that.
Side out Texas, Sands to serve. Fedjica shouldered that one up to keep it alive.
Come on, Andrew, come on! She's in. 3.
You could hear Wendell calling out that play the whole way through. She's in, they're running a 3, and they did. She and Fedjica still unable to get up and block this play. Brightonfield just up high.
9-6, Texas.
Look at that dig by Sands.
Wendell. Another point for the Longhorns, 10-6.
Verna Klubnik and the referee called 4 hits, and Wendell felt like she had gotten a piece of the block. How about that dig by Sands? She immediately hit the floor.
Just been all over the court. Now she's serving. Texas up by 4. Focal back into the Stanford lineup. Triefenbach puts it down.
Triefenbach figured out that outside block, and she is hitting around it very well. Don Shaw, pensive look on his face.
Stanford would like to finish it off in game 4 if they could. Texas, though, in the driver's seat right now. Brightonfield, good. Side out Longhorns.
She's coming alive for Texas. A couple good plays in a row. Kind of quiet in this match lately.
Sonia Barnes to serve. Sharply. Good dig by Brightonfield.
A sprawl by Wendell.
Winkle pounds one home. 11-6 Texas.
Texas is really playing well right now. They're moving the ball around to all of their hitters. That's a nice 1-foot takeoff on that slide by Winkle.
3 straight points for the Longhorns. Solo block Brightonfield.
Wendell kind of trapped Fedjica there. Wasn't much she could do with that.
Substitution, Triefenbach is out, and for the first time since early in game 1, we see Romatka back out on the floor for Stanford.
I think Don Shaw is just looking to mix things up a little bit, trying anything he can right now to get his Stanford squad back in this game.
Oh, nice play by Austin. Texas. She has taken control of game 4.
Absolutely. Really controlling the net, Angie Breitenfield. Out there all alone. Beautiful solo block, and then she gets up again. It's tough to know where this Stanford offense is going. They have 3 players with more than 15 kills. Trievenbach 15, Murphy 19, and Focal 20. So they're not an easy team to block. They're not a predictable team. They're a tough team to scout offensively. And yet this UT squad has done a fabulous job of controlling the net in this game.
Texas 13-6. They've run off 5 unanswered points and are now 2 points away from forcing a game 5.
It's not uncommon to see Stanford in this position, but we have not seen Texas in the championships in a long time. It's predominantly been West Coast schools, Stanford in 94, Long Beach in 93, Stanford again in 92, and then of course UCLA 91 and 90. UCLA has long been known as the most predominant team. You see that Stanford or UCLA has been in 14 of the 15 Final Fours. Stanford, however, is the only team that has been in all 15 regionals. UOP had been the other school, and they didn't make it this year. University of Pacific has a fabulous women's volleyball program also.
And I don't know, Marie, if the Cardinal really expected to be in this position right now, staring at the possibility of a game 5.
Yeah, but Don Shaw was not taking Texas lightly. I mean, his team had lost to them earlier, and Mick Haley has done a fabulous job with his Texas squad. Don Shaw knew he was going to be up against a big block. That was his biggest concern, and it's been his biggest stumbling block.
Nice get by Focal. Another nice get, that time Wendell. Sharply into the net.
Stanford's coach Don Shaw during that timeout was given a yellow card for arguing about the calls. That's just a warning. There's no penalty assigned to that.
Game point, Texas. Sonia Barnes to serve to force a game 5. Breitenfield will go to game 5 to decide who will move in to the national championship.
And yet another smile on Mick Haley's face. Angie Breitenfield really raised her level of play in that game. She was the difference for Texas. Seems like every game we're talking about a different player emerging for either team, and Breitenfield was definitely it for Texas here. Clearly just hits over the block, making Mick Haley a very happy man.
Texas took the last 7 points of the game. We'll go to game 5 when we return.
Primal Rage. Bigger. Better. Faster. Primal Rage. Now available on these leading home systems. Rage.
The Lady Lions of Penn State take to the floor with a top 10 ranking and All-American candidates Tina Nicholson and Angie Potoff. They're going up against Kansas and Coach Marion Washington. She'll be going to Atlanta as an assistant coach of the women's Olympic team. But right now, she's got to lead Tamika Dixon and the Jayhawks past one of the toughest teams in the country. It's the Women's NCAA, Penn State versus Kansas. Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, only on ESPN2.
So you've been thinking about getting Quicken, the world's #1 selling personal finance software. But don't you wish you could, well, see what's in the box? It's a world of features that make Quicken the fastest, easiest way to organize your finances. Look, there's almost no setup. Just start by paying your bills like this. Next time you have the same bill, just type the first few keys, and Quicken remembers everything for you. Your bank and credit card balances are always up to date online with no typing. And best of all, with Quicken, you always know exactly where your money goes, so you gain more control of your finances. Quicken also tracks credit cards, loans, investments, budgets, and more, and balances your checkbook in minutes. It even keeps track of your tax deductions. Does that answer your question? So why not try Quicken?
It's easy. Call 1-800-624-1804 for your 30-day free trial. Pay just $9.95 shipping. If you decide to keep it, we'll bill you the balance in 30 days.
Texas takes game 4, 15-6 to force a deciding game 5. Games to 15. Again, you must win by 2, even with the rally scoring at the bottom of the screen there in the 5th game. With each serve in this 5th game, there will be a point awarded. You don't have to serve to pick up a point, the rally scoring system. And Maria, we've talked about the quality, the caliber of the teams in this national semifinal and in the one prior, and they are living up to their billing.
Absolutely. This is the first time ever both semifinal matches have gone to a 5th game. And I'm really worried I might have to give up chocolate, because I told you. If Stanford didn't beat their rankings and finish better than 3rd nationally, that I'd give it up. So
I'm holding you to that, too. So is Coach Haley over on the Texas bench.
Absolutely.
Sonia Barnes, Demetria Sants, Angie Breitenfield, Katie Austin have played huge roles for Texas today. Eileen Murphy has been there for Stanford, and there is a point for Texas.
And that right there is the reason that Texas has been so successful in this match. They lead in team blocks 15-8.
Murphy with a kill.
20th kill for Murphy. She's hitting .548.
Murphy to serve, tied at 1.
It's a nice tool by Sants off the inside hands of Wendell.
Texas up 2-1.
Look how she turns this ball down the line and just uses Wendell. Great short serving by Texas.
Dig by Breitenfield. Sants right at Murphy.
This defense is incredible.
Fedjica puts it down. 2-2 in game 5.
We've seen some fabulous net play, but also some incredible digs in this match. 2 in this rally alone.
Wendell to serve for Stanford. Nice play by Triefenbach.
Texas called in the net, number 4, Carrie Bush.
Stanford takes the 3-2 lead.
Not allowed to touch the net.
Barnes off of Triefenbach. 3-3.
This nice slide play here by Barnes. Just gets a piece on the outside.
Sants serving. Sharply. Misses wide.
Stanford looking for a touch.
4-3 Texas. Still have to win by 2. Oh, Christine Focal.
That's the thing about Focal, you can set her anywhere. She normally plays on the left, outside hitter, high outside sets, but she can run about any play in the book.
Ties it at 4, Focal serving. Bush gets it across. Sharply promptly puts it down. 5-4 Stanford.
That's a beautiful turn down the line by Lisa Sharply. She sees the block is set up inside, and look at the way she finds the line there.
Stanford leading Texas 5-4 in game 5. The winner moves on to the championship. Back after this.
This free video shows you how Bowflex lets you outperform Nordic Flex and SoloFlex. Call for yours right now. You need to see this free video. You'll see how your workouts with Bowflex can be faster than Nordic Flex and Soloflex. You'll see why Bowflex's cable pulley system can give you better results, why Bowflex can offer you both aerobic and strength conditioning, and why only Bowflex is backed by a lifetime warranty. If you've been looking at any home fitness equipment, make sure you compare before you buy. Call for your free video. Then you'll see why Bowflex is the machine that's right for you.
Domino's Ultimate Deep Dish gets quite a reaction.
Rings.
A thick crust, cheese melted to the edge. Call for a large Domino's Deep Dish with one topping, just $9.99.
Free.
To apply for a Discover card, all you have to do is give us a ring at 1-800-DISCOVER. There's no annual fee. And with our cashback bonus award, the sooner you call, the sooner we can return the favor. It pays to Discover.
Game 5, Stanford leading Texas 5-4. NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship coming your way on ESPN2 Saturday at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. One of these two teams will meet Nebraska in the finals. Rally scoring system. There is a point awarded on each serve here in Game 5. Stanford, the defending national champs, in a dogfight with the Longhorns. Point Texas.
Texas is really executing well. Seem to have the momentum right now. Playing with a lot of confidence.
Tied at 5, Sonia Barnes to serve. And Sharpley doesn't clear the net with that one. Texas up 6-5 when Texas beat Stanford earlier in the season. They took a Game 5 over the Cardinal to do it. Breitenfield, nice block. And a whistle against Texas.
There you can see number 9 touch the net. That's second play.
Tied at 6. Breitenfield.
Texas is just flawless right now. Very strong.
Really all started to come together when Breitenfield really picked it up in Game 4.
Yeah, wait up, come on. Go, right here. Shot.
Point Longhorns.
Donshaw's got to call a timeout here. Side change. Stanford just not communicating well, not executing well. This is as sloppily as I've ever seen Stanford play.
They haven't picked a good time to do it here in Game 5 of the national semifinals. Back after this.
So you've been thinking about getting Quicken, the world's #1 selling personal finance software. But don't you wish you could, well, see what's in the box? It's a world of features that make Quicken the fastest, easiest way to organize your finances. Look, there's almost no setup. Just start by paying your bills like this. Next time you have the same bill, just type the first few keys, and Quicken remembers everything for you. Your bank and credit card balances are always up to date online with no typing. And best of all, with Quicken, you always know exactly where your money goes, so you gain more control of your finances. Quicken also tracks credit cards, loans, investments, budgets, and more, and balances your checkbook in minutes. It even keeps track of your tax deductions. Does that answer your question? So why not try Quicken?
It's easy. Call 1-800-624-1804 for your 30-day free trial. Pay just $9.95 shipping. If you decide to keep it, we'll bill you the balance in 30 days.
A terrific national championship tournament for women's volleyball. Texas leading Stanford 8-6 here in Game 5 of the national semis. The first national semi went to Nebraska in 5 games as well. Angie Breitenfield with the double-double has really picked up the pace for Texas.
Coach Mick Haley said many people don't recognize what a great all-around player she is, and she's certainly proven that tonight here at the end of the match.
Point Stanford. Interestingly enough, Coach Haley spent very little time in the huddle during that break, and it was the team doing all the talking.
Stanford starting to execute here with a spike from Marnie Triefenbach.
Put down by Jane Winkle. 9-7 Texas.
Everything's working right for UT right now.
Longhorns trying to pull off the upset of the defending national champions. Nice play by Murphy. Winkle again. 2 straight points. Texas 10-7.
McKelly said the best has yet to come with Jane Winkle, and I doubt he's saying that right now.
It's coming right now. Terry Wendell will not go quietly. She picks up a point for Stanford. 10-8 Longhorns.
That's what UT has done really well in this match, is use Stanford's block.
Triefenbach to serve. Focal. Kristen Focal. Stanford down 1.
What a pound by Kristen Focal on the outside. You know, she trained with our national team earlier in the season, and it made her so much quicker. Such a dominating hitter.
Sands puts the hammer down. Texas back up by 2, 11-9. Chrisman comes on to serve for the Longhorns.
23rd kill for Demetria Sands. She has been phenomenal.
Timeout taken by Don Shaw and the Cardinal. Texas up 2 here in Game 5.
The sexy one.
Okay. Do you like cheesecake?
CK1.
You do?
One for all.
CK1, a fragrance from Calvin Klein.
What does it all mean?
Texas leading Stanford 11-9 in Game 5. 4 points away from knocking off the defending national champs, and Demetria Sands has had a huge hand in it today.
She's done a phenomenal job for Texas, both offensively and defensively.
Yes, sir, please.
Wendell, long. Texas 3 points away from advancing. 12-9 Longhorns. Chrisman serving.
Yes, sir.
Good effort by the Longhorns.
Celebrate that play a little early while it was close to coming back over the net.
I tell you, she certainly wants the ball around her with the game on the line. Murphy serving. Texas is 2 points away from the final.
Lucky for Texas that Sands is in left front. She is in her position. She'll be in the front row probably definitely until the end of this match.
Juilliard in for Stanford. The Cardinal trying to keep their season alive. Nice dig by Bush. over the net.
You can't cross the plane of the net on a play like that. You've got to wait for the ball to get on top of the net. Sands a little overzealous, reached over there.
13-11 Texas. Sharply, point Stanford. 13-12. The defending champs won't go down without a fight. Wendell to serve.
See Mick Haley coming off his bench, giving his team a little last-minute advice. I think this is as wide-eyed as I've ever seen the Stanford squad.
Juilliard with the dig. Focal at the net. Point Texas.
There's another grid by Mick Haley. Beautiful play by Carrie Bush. They weren't expecting her to do that. He's got to be thrilled.
He's loving it right now.
Absolutely.
Texas 14, Stanford 12. The Cardinal coming in considered the favorite to win it all for the second year in a row, and right now they are in jeopardy of not making it out of the semifinal round. The Longhorns with the 2-point advantage, trying to beat Stanford for the second time this season. They did it back in September in 5 games. And this would be a completely different story, though, with Focal in the Stanford lineup with a healthier bunch of Cardinal than they played earlier in the season.
The last time the Longhorns won a national championship was in 1988. Mick Haley has 2 crowns under his belt at Texas. The other one was in '81, the AIAW title. He has 13 Southwestern Conference titles. So they've had a very successful program at Texas, but it's been a while since they have won it all.
Right now trying to advance to the finals. Nebraska is already in. They beat Michigan State earlier. And Texas trying to pull the upset. Carrie Bush, the senior, with a big play. Her sister, Nikki, was a member of the 1988 national championship team.
An All-American on that team.
And she is trying to get into the finals herself with the Longhorns. Demetria Sands will serve for the match. Focal wide, Texas wins. The Longhorns shock Stanford 15-12 in Game 5 to advance to the national championship. A jubilant bunch of Longhorns celebrating their victory over Stanford.
What a gigantic upset this is, and a lot of it due to the woman that just served the ball. Demetria Sands has been fabulous. Kristen Focal did not play as well as I'm sure she had hoped, and Mick Haley is thrilled.
The Texas Longhorns are going to the national championship to meet Nebraska. They take Game 5 by 3.
Spartan School of Aeronautics can train you to be a pilot or quality...
A pilot?
Yes, Spartan has been training aviation professionals in Tulsa, Oklahoma since 1928. Spartan offers training in